The bold and the beautiful, explosive week of August 25th to 29th. Truths unravel, loyalties tested, and hearts in turmoil. The week opened in absolute chaos. After what should have been a forgettable night out, Will wakes up dazed, shirtless, and not alone. The woman next to him isn't Electra, like he assumed during the wild haze of the evening. It's Luna. Except Luna is supposed to be dead. At least that's what the world thinks. The only person who knew Luna was alive was her aunt, and now here she is, very much alive and very much in Will's bed. But things aren't what they seem. Will, still hungover and disoriented, believes it was Electra or maybe even Lainey he slept with. But as the pieces start clicking into place, the pit in his stomach grows. Something is very wrong. He didn't consent to sleeping with Luna. He didn't even know she was alive, let alone recognize her. Luna, for her part, doesn't deny what happened. The twisted truth is, she knew he thought she was someone else, and she let it happen. Luna raped Will while pretending to be another woman. By Monday afternoon, Will is wandering through his memories, desperate to put the night together like a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces. He's shaken. Nothing feels real. The confusion deepens when Lainey confronts him, appalled that he even suggested they'd slept together. Her denial isn't just verbal, it's fierce, it's visceral. She's angry, she's wounded, and she's scared. If Will didn't sleep with her, and he didn't sleep with Electra, then who the hell was in his bed? As panic rises, Will starts asking questions no one is ready to answer. Meanwhile, Carter chooses the worst possible time to propose something life-altering. As he drops a romantic suggestion, maybe even a runaway plan, Ridge interrupts. The timing couldn't be worse. Carter's clearly slipping into a fantasy, blind to the shifting emotional tectonics beneath Hope's feet. He doesn't see how often she's been at Liam's side. He doesn't hear what she confessed to Deacon just days ago, that her old feelings for Liam have started to stir again. Hope is no longer in Carter's world completely. Her heart is split. And Carter's dreams of a life together may be more fiction than future. Over at Spencer Publications, Bill steps in where no one else dares. He sees Liam spiraling, not just emotionally, but existentially. Ever since the brain tumor diagnosis, Liam has been reevaluating everything. Regrets, past loves, mistakes. Bill, always the man of action, urges his son to seize the moment, to stop waiting for fate and start writing his next chapter. The conversation may be paternal and practical on the surface, but underneath it's charged. Bill wants Liam to make a move before someone else does. Tuesday brings another storm. Will, now half sure of what happened that night, is crushed by a weight he never expected, guilt. But it's a warped kind of guilt, twisted with confusion and shame. What do you call it when you're the victim, but you feel like you're the one who did something wrong? Will drinks too much, blacks out, and wakes up having been used. But his mind keeps telling him he made a mistake. His body remembers, but not enough. His soul screams, but no one hears it. Elsewhere, Liam finally breaks. He pleads with Hope, laying everything bare. It's not just about love anymore, it's about life. About time. About whatever time he has left. Hope listens, her heart unraveling thread by thread. There was a time when Liam's words would have been enough. Maybe they still are. Back at Forrester, Ridge and Carter reach a rare agreement. They've been circling a truce for weeks, but now they shake hands on something bigger. Something undefined. Whether it's a business accord or a silent agreement to not step on each other's romantic landmines, only time will tell. But Carter isn't letting go of Hope, not yet. On Wednesday, Hope does what she should have done sooner. She confesses everything to Deacon. The pull toward Liam. The emotional confusion. The secret nights where she held his hand and didn't want to let go. Deacon listens without judgment, but his expression says more than words. He knows what this means. Carter's time is almost up. That same day, Deacon stumbles into something no one saw coming: Luna. He recognizes her instantly, shocked and silent, like seeing a ghost. She's not supposed to be here. Not in LA, Not in this studio, not in this storyline. Her return isn't just a plot twist, it's a live wire that could set everything ablaze. If she's alive, then the lies surrounding her death must be deeper than anyone imagined. And if she was capable of deceiving the world, what else is she hiding? By Thursday, Will is unraveling. He's connecting the dots now. The woman's perfume, her voice, the shape of her face in the dark, it wasn't Lainey. It wasn't Electra. It was Luna. And the horror of that truth sends him spiraling. In desperation, he seeks out the one person twisted enough to give him clarity, Sheila. If anyone knows what it's like to be on the edge of reality, it's her. Their conversation is cryptic, disturbing, and ultimately unhelpful. But one thing is clear. If Luna manipulated her way back into the land of the living, she didn't do it alone. Sheila hints at bigger schemes, bigger players. Later, Sheila has a curious phone call with Lee. Nothing explicit, just fragments, veiled threats, and whispered names. But the tension is unmistakable. Lee knows something. Sheila always does. By Friday, Liam has made up his mind. He's going to rebuild his family no matter what. The tumor, the pain, the past, it all leads to one undeniable truth. He still loves Hope. And if there's even the faintest chance of rekindling what they had, he'll take it. He tells her that clearly, unapologetically. But across town, Carter isn't giving up. With heartbreak glimmering in his eyes, he looks Hope in the face and says what no one expected, let's run away. Leave it all behind. The business, the family, the history. Just the two of them. It's romantic. It's irrational. It's desperate. Hope doesn't respond right away, but her silence says enough. She's caught in the middle of two lives, two men, two futures. One safe, one familiar, one fading. And that's not the only triangle brewing. Lainey now suspects something happened to Luna the night she disappeared, something darker than anyone guessed. Her anger with Will softens into concern, and her instincts tell her to follow the threads. If Luna faked her death, who helped her? And why target Will? Meanwhile, Deacon keeps the truth about Luna to himself. For now. But the temptation to expose everything grows by the hour. He knows what's at stake. If Luna gets away with what she did, then the entire fabric of trust in their world could crumble. The week ends on a chilling note. Luna, alone in her apartment, staring at a mirror. Her expression? Blank. Cold. Calculated. She's not the girl they remember. She's something else now. And she's not done yet. As this wild August week wraps up, the bold and the beautiful proves again that no secret stays buried forever and no heart stays safe. Stay tuned. After the chaos of that night, Will Spencer awoke to a whirlwind of confusion, shame, and creeping dread. The bed was cold, the room unfamiliar, and his mind a fog of fragmented images and disjointed emotions. He remembered a laugh, a voice he thought was Electra's soft touches, the faint scent of perfume. But something didn't line up. As the morning light hit his face and the fog began to clear, the pieces didn't fit together. Slowly, painfully, Will reconstructed the hours he couldn't remember. And what he found terrified him. It hadn't been Electra in the bed with him. It hadn't been Lainey. It had been someone else. Someone he shouldn't have seen. Someone who wasn't supposed to be alive. Luna. A name he hadn't heard in months. A face he hadn't seen since the reports of her disappearance, her death. And yet now, with the clarity of memory slicing through the haze, Will could see her. He remembered her voice, remembered her touch, remembered the exact moment she whispered his name. She hadn't corrected him when he called her Electra. She hadn't stopped. And neither had he because he hadn't known. The horror set in like a disease, spreading through his chest, making it hard to breathe. Will wasn't just confused, he felt violated. Used. Trapped. Because if Luna was alive and hiding, what else was she hiding? And why come to him? Why no? Questions piled faster than answers. Guilt gnawed at him, but deeper than guilt was fear. Fear that he'd crossed a line he didn't even see. Fear that someone else was pulling the strings. And most terrifying of all, fear that this mistake, this moment, would destroy not only him but everyone with the Spencer name. Will did the unthinkable. He sought help from Sheila Carter. It was instinct more than logic that led him to her. Something about the chaos, the danger, the lack of safety, Will felt that Sheila, of all people, might understand what no one else could. She was notorious, unpredictable, morally bankrupt in a way that made her seem almost invincible. If anyone could handle the mess Will had walked into, it was her. But talking to Sheila came at a cost, and Will had no idea how high it would be. Sheila listened, like a predator watching an injured animal stumble into her den. Will didn't tell her everything, at least not at first, but he told her enough. Enough for Sheila to realize what kind of leverage had just been dropped into her lap. Luna was alive. Luna had deceived Will. Luna had committed an act that, under any legal lens, could be seen as rape. And now Will, a Spencer, was sitting in Sheila's kitchen asking for help. It was too good. She didn't show her excitement. Not yet. Instead, she leaned into the role of the wise woman, the misunderstood outcast with all the answers. She coached him gently, told him to breathe, told him to focus, told him this didn't have to be the end of his life. But as she spoke, Sheila was calculating, strategizing. One secret this big could open every door she wanted in Los Angeles. It was power, pure, volatile power, and Will had handed it to her on a silver platter. Meanwhile, back at Spencer Publications, Elektra was facing her own unraveling. She'd waited hours for Will to come home. Texted. Called. No response. When he finally returned, his behavior was erratic, evasive. He couldn't look her in the eye. Elektra knew something was wrong. Her instincts told her she'd been betrayed, but the truth, when it came, would be more complicated than even she could imagine. At first, she thought it was another woman. A fling. A mistake. But as Will tried and failed to explain himself, as he stumbled over half-truths and apologies that didn't make sense, Elektra realized this wasn't a simple act of cheating. This was something darker. Something he couldn't say out loud. And then came the breaking point. Will confessed that it hadn't been her he was with. That he hadn't even known who it was. That he'd woken up next to someone he couldn't name at first. That he thought it was her. Elektra, horrified, demanded answers. And when Will, through broken words and trembling hands, whispered Luna's name, Elektra's world shattered. It wasn't just betrayal. It was violation. Not just of their relationship, but of everything they thought was true. Luna was supposed to be dead. She had disappeared without a trace, leaving grief, suspicion, and mystery behind her. Her sudden reappearance wasn't a miracle, it was a threat. And worse, she had crossed a line that no one could ignore. Elektra now faced a choice. She could walk away. Leave this madness behind. Pretend it never happened. Or she could fight. Not just for herself, not just for Will, but for the truth. The real truth. She could expose Luna. Drag her into the light. Make her answer for what she did. But doing that meant going public. It meant reliving the pain, airing the trauma, putting Will's name, her name, on every headline. It meant legal battles. Public scrutiny. It meant choosing justice over survival. And somewhere in the shadows, Sheila was watching it all unfold. Pulling strings. Pushing buttons. She whispered in Will's ear 1 minute and hinted at alliances with Luna the next. She didn't care who got hurt, so long as she came out on top. The moral line was blurring fast. What Luna did to Will was a crime. What Sheila was doing now was worse. And Elektra, caught in the middle, was the only one still trying to see the world in black and white. But this was Los Angeles. This was the bold and the beautiful. And here, no truth stays hidden forever. No crime goes unpunished forever. And no secret, no matter how deep, remains buried. The Spencer, Logan family found itself at the heart of a storm unlike anything they'd faced before. Ridge and Brooke, sensing the tension in Will and Electra's relationship, tried to intervene, but neither knew the full scope of what had happened. Hope, still wrapped up in her own dilemma between Carter and Liam, barely noticed the cracks forming beneath her extended family's foundation. Behind the scenes, the legal machine started moving. Sheila reached out to her network of questionable contacts, testing the waters for blackmail, for negotiation, for control. She approached Luna with veiled threats and unsettling smiles. Luna, unfazed, seemed almost ready for her. Perhaps this had been her plan all along. Was Luna a victim of her own trauma or a predator in disguise? Had she come back for closure or revenge? By the end of the week, it was clear this wasn't just about one night, one mistake, or one lie. This was a collision course between truth and survival. The Will, Electra, Sheila triangle had evolved into a legal and ethical time bomb, ticking louder with every passing hour. If the truth came out, would it set Will free or destroy him? And if Sheila held the keys to that truth, how much damage could she do before anyone stopped her? The silence after trauma is never quiet. It echoes. It haunts. And in Los Angeles, the echo had just begun.